Okay, cool.
Well, hello everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another WKS podcast. This time I'm with Taff and Steve of a band called Not Dead. How you doing? Oh, sorry, not Ned. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good, you?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Where are you guys based then?
I need this one.
Well, we're in Denton in Manchester.
Okay.
And that's where we got our name from, because Denton backwards is Not Ned.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to tell us first off about sort of how you got into music in the first place?
Well, for me, the very early days, I was in like a jazz band playing trumpet when I was like at high school, and then from there, I just got into guitar when I got to college. When I was about 16, I thought, I learned guitar. And my dad used to always mess about with guitars as well, to be fair. So we'd always have them in the house growing up, and he was massively into his music, like Led Zepp, Jimi Hendrix, Free, you name it. So yeah, it was growing up in a house full of music, I suppose, more than anything else.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I grew up with my dad playing, Dire Straits, Led Zeppelin, that kind of stuff. And I always thought it'd be cool to be in a band. And I always wanted to play drums. But when I moved in with a girl, and I said I want to get a drum kit, she said no, you can have a guitar, no drums. All right, fair enough. So I had to go on the guitar. And then when I moved to Manchester, because originally I'm from South Wales, when I moved up to Manchester, there were some guys practicing in the pub where I got a job. And I said, I could play guitar. And they said, well, we need a bass player. So I thought, well, it can't be that hard. I'll learn bass. So I did that for a bit. Then I joined a rugby club. And there's some guys there just jamming. And I said, I could play guitar and bass. And they said, well, we really need a drummer. I thought, that'll do me. So bought myself a drum kit, and that was it.
Superb. How many are you in the band then altogether?
So there's three of us. I mean, originally we started 11 or 12 years ago, and there was 5 of us originally. Then that dwindled down to 4, and then at one point it was just me and Taff, and then we got Chris in about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So yes, it's just 3 of us now.
Okay. So what sort of what style of music do you play then?
We are a bit of a mixed bag. So it's anything from indie rock, some like classic rock, to like progressive punk. So we are split across like 3 genres really. So
yeah, because people say to us, what's your sound, and my answer to that is anything that sounds good. Yeah, right. We'll have a go at it. I mean, I think we know what sounds good and what doesn't, and if something works, it works. We don't want to be pigeonholed. We just want to play good music.
Yeah, fair play. So, sort of, who are your inspirations then musically?
I'd say for me, one massive one would be the Rolling Stones, but also all of the Arctic Monkeys, Oasis, of course, being from Manchester. But pretty much I listen to anything and anyone. I'd say my favourite bands ever were probably the Rolling Stones. I'd say Stereophonics, AC/DC, Oasis, yeah.
Foo Fighters. I mean, I'm wearing a Kelly Jones t-shirt at the minute. So.
Yes.
Yeah, Kings of Leon. So.
Okay, superb. What
good old-fashioned rock and roll.
Yeah, I get that. So what sort of music have you got out there at the moment then?
Well, we did an EP years ago, but the most recent one is an album called Every Cloud released. So that's on pretty much every platform. So it's on Amazon, it's on iTunes. You can get it pretty much anywhere. And that's the first album we've really recorded, wasn't it? And that we released that midway through the very first lockdown. So we thought, let's just get it out there because it was ready to go. And yes, that's a mixed bag, isn't it? So we've got songs like Mother Junkie, which is a full-on punk song. Muck Around again is punk. And then there's Pick Up Your Phone, which is a slightly slower tempoed, more of an indie kind of vibe to it. Yeah. But then there's a few like rock and roll ones on there as well.
Well, Pick Up the Phone was the first one that we did a video for, and that's more of a mellow one. Then I don't know how Muck Around came around as being a video, but we sent a CD to somebody and they said that their favorite tune on that was Muck Around. So I said to Steve, right, well, let's just push that one. And we've just finished recording the third video, so hopefully we'll get that back soon. And that's for a song called Mother Junkie, which is one of our personal favorites.
Brilliant. Superb. You mentioned the lockdown, you got it out just before the lockdown. So how did that, apart from not being able probably to practice and all that sort of stuff, how did the lockdown affect you musically? Did you write more, or did it just kill it totally?
We had the album, and we had a year full of bookings.
Yeah.
And obviously straight away the practice room shut down and all that kind of stuff. So we sat twiddling our thumbs. And then literally every week we were just watching gigs get cancelled one after the other as it went on throughout the year. And then we had the summer, didn't we? And that was looking kind of all right.
Yeah.
So we had a few festivals at the end of August. And then we had the Christmas light switch on booked for Buxton and Glossop. And then they just gradually went towards the end of the year. I mean, the good thing for us is because they weren't seen as like a leisure facility as much, the practice studios, we was allowed to get back in between quite a lot, wasn't it? We did all right.
Yeah, because something to do with having a support bubble, you could have a certain amount of people. And because there was only 3 of us, we could go in and basically stand in the corners of the practice room. So it was good. We get on quite well with the guy that runs it. So he knew we weren't going to be stupid about it. He could trust us.
Fair play.
So
Fair play. Good. So do you, I mean, obviously you play mostly around Manchester then, do you?
Yeah, predominantly, yeah. We've been up as far as Egremont. We played in some pub up there once, and the landlord had a Timberwolf.
Egremont?
Yeah. Up
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I actually remember today what it's actually called.
Right.
And the landlord had this Timberwolf. It is probably about 4 foot high, sat down. It just stared at us the whole gig.
We get that a lot, though.
And then this year we're going down as far as Exeter, isn't it? The first we're going down.
Yeah, well, you're in Penzance, aren't you?
Yeah.
So my mother lives in Exeter, so I want to try and get down to there. And like I said, I grew up in South Wales, so what I'm planning on doing is traveling down to Newport, say do a gig on the Friday night, travel a bit further down to Exeter, do the Saturday, and then travel back Sunday.
Brilliant.
So we're looking to try and get around. Like I said, we had quite a lot of gigs booked this year, but they just turned into red crosses on the calendar.
We were going to Skegness, weren't we, for a mini festival, Mini Cooper festival.
Yeah, my mother really likes minis, and she does a lot of things where like mini groups all around the country get together, and they had one in Skegness, and we were going to play that,
right.
But obviously that got shelved until next year now. Yeah.
So have you got anything sort of on the horizon wise, quite close now, gig wise?
The nearest thing we've got booked currently is end of August, and that's the Buxton Music Festival.
Okay.
Because things are just starting to open up again now, and I think a lot of people are very twitchy about actually booking anybody because you don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, do you? Whether it's going to go backwards again or...
Yeah, I mean, everybody's optimistic, but cautious at the same time. They don't want to commit to something just in case.
Yes.
It's a bit of a pain. Like I said, I'm trying to get together to do the Newport and Exeter thing. We also had 2 other bands, one from Newcastle, one from Pwllheli. And we were going to do a gig swap. So the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'd go to each other's venues.
Good idea.
But again, that got shelved. So so we're looking at getting that back up and running again.
Any plans for a new album then?
Funny enough, I've got to phone somebody after this because he said, would you like to come into the studio, just do 1 or 2 tracks? So I thought, well, we'll do a 4-track EP. So myself and Steve got together on Monday. Chris couldn't come because he cut the end off his finger, so he can't play guitar. And and we just got our songbook out with all the old songs, and we opened a can of worms because we just looked at the songs and went, "That's a good one. That's a good one." And we ended up. So what I'm planning on doing is doing 2 4-track EPs, you know, and stagger the release of them.
Got you.
Because I mean, as great as like getting how many tracks? 10, 12?
Yeah.
You know,
12,
yeah. Once you've released it, you've got nothing else.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say, right, here's a few, and 3 months time, here's a few more, here's a few more. You know, just to rather than just having your whole cake and eating it at the same time.
Yeah. Who's your main sort of songwriter then?
That's me.
Okay. Did you find the lockdown was productive for your songwriting or no?
No.
No, he did absolutely bugger all.
To be fair, I had probably about 5 or 6 weeks at the start, where I was like kind of like working from home, but then I was back in work then after that because
right.
I work for a bakery, so
okay.
we were straight back in on it. Same with Taff, you worked all the way through.
I've worked all the way through. I've not had a day off. I think the last day off was like 2 days before Christmas.
Okay, blimey.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great. It's great to be in that position, you know. But you know, when lockdown's over, everybody's going to be out, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, you know. Any chance I could have 2 weeks away, you know, in Cornwall before all you rabble get down there? You know?
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to ask you one final question. I ask all artists the same question at the end, and that is there anybody you'd like to thank for you being here musically now?
Obviously my dad, because he's a huge influence and always pushed me forward with everything I was doing. My music teacher from Tweed High School, Adrian Reed. If it wasn't for him, I would have never really got into any kind of music, I suppose, as much as what I did. I learned to play instruments. And my wife supported us because they have to put up with a lot, don't they?
Yeah. I'd again start with my dad. Like I said, he played Led Zeppelin, Dire Straits. I'd also have to mention my mother because when I was a kid, like I said, I've always wanted to be a drummer. We had this little stool with a padded top on it, and I don't know where, but I got some drumsticks from somewhere, and I used to sit in my sister's bedroom pretending to play the drums, just go bang, 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 bang. But she would be in the kitchen and underneath, and every time I'd play it, she'd always shout to me, "Will you stop hitting that bloody thing?" So, thanks, Mum.
Brilliant.
But I would say the biggest influence at the minute is a guy called Owen Alec Ashworth. Check him out. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's just gone on TikTok as well because he's into that. I don't know what these kids do these days. No idea. But he's the guy that owns our practice room and recording studio. He recorded and produced the album that we've just done.
Right.
So he's effectively our go-to guy for anything musically.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And his mum Denise.
Yeah. We've written a song because it's called "Where Did You Go," and Denise had the unfortunate job of walking into our studio just after I'd
let one go.
Yeah, for want of a better word. So and we were all like, "Can she smell that?" And then she walked out, and Steve said, "Where did she go?" And after that, a song came from that. So
brilliant.
There we go.
Superb, guys. Superb. Look, thanks very much for the interview. Absolutely great.
No problem.
We had a slight delay on the sound and the images, but I think we've worked through it okay, actually. So superb.
Yeah, no problem.
And thank that blackbird that's been singing in the background. It's been lovely.
He's got his fountain going as well and busting for a piss.
Superb. Guys, look, take care and thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, mate.
All right.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.